Hello and welcome to this crash course. What we're going to be doing now today is to build out this fantastic looking application, right? And it's actually a full stack application. So we're going to start up, by building the UIs first. Like I'll build out the landing page, which is the home page, then go over to the shop and so on, right? So then we'll start the actual implementation of this application from the backend, right? So far, this is how far we've come. I'm going to show you, demo it to you what we have currently. You can access it via this link. And this is it. This is what we have. Looking good. This is the hero section. So scroll down. You basically have the range section. Scroll down a bit, you have the product section. So when you hover over a product, you kind of see that cool, lets you know, effect that we have there, right? So that's actually done with Figma motion, kind of basic. And also we have this, this setup section, right? And then we have the footer, right? So this is good. And then you can check out the shop part by clicking on the shop button. So this should take you to a page where you can view more of those products. So don't worry, most of this product will actually be coming from the actual endpoint, right? You can see show here, you can actually select whatever you want to show and so on. You can select a filter that you want to filter by, right? So these are the things that will basically like integrate with an actual endpoint in the future. So you can see we have more of the products here because this is more of a product page, and then we can have a custom navigation, right? So if you click on it, it takes you to the other page, right? So, but the way we want to do it during the integration, we want to make sure that it doesn't reload the page. It just, fetches new data and update the virtual DOM instantaneously. And also we have the banner section here, and then we have the footer. So this is what we'll be building in this very first module of the application. And then yes, I would actually love to hear you guys feedback regarding what and what you want to be you want integrated in this platform, right? Because I've already like demoed a couple of things that has to do with the backend architecture and so on. So these are the things that we'll be going through during this lesson, right? So all right. All right, so yeah, so let's grab the mobile version of this. I forgot to demo this, like minimize this a bit. And obviously, just take us back to the initial stage, which is this. Good, good, good. So I'm going to do is going to demo it here. Okay, so put it around here. And you can see this is our navigation. Very good. And then scroll down, you can see the way that every component is pretty much responsive. We still have all the cool features within it, and all the details are still there. And then we have the filter. So this is the mobile version of this application, right? All right. So let's get started. Hello and welcome back. So we're going to look into the shop section, right? And also we'll be building quite a lot, right? Like the shop hero section, right? And also we'll be going into the filtration part. We have the cards already, right? And also we just look through all of this, right? We already have the landing page all set up, and we can access the shop via the landing page, right? So when you click on the shop, it's going to take you to the shop page. We don't have anything here yet. But one thing that is cool is that we can actually reuse some of the component we have in the landing page, right? For the shop, right? Yeah. So what we need the hero section, right? We need the filtration section right there. And yeah, so one thing I'm going to do later on is to show you what we have on the code. And obviously, there's a couple of things, right? So in the sections, in the components folder, I'm going to go to the sections folder. And within the sections, I'm going to open up and create a folder here. And this is going to be called the shop, really. That's a mistake. I will change that. That's going to be the shop section. And in this shop section, we're going to have, a shop hero section and so on. This gives us enough flexibility to group all the sections that are relevant in this shop page within the shop section, right? So that gives us a kind of a very good approach to tackling it, right? So as you can see, this is the shop component or section within the actual design, and that is the filtration section. So we're going to try to create both, right? So you come here and create a new file, and we can just say hero section. But now the thing is, we need to prefix it with shop. So it's going to be shop hero section, right? We're going to do shop hero section, right? And then we'll name this to shop, right? Good. And then we just rename the file to shop hero section. Exactly, right? Yeah, so we can actually add some skeletal code to that. And then we're just going to do RFC, exactly. So this is going to be our initial coding for it. Okay, so now let's build out the show bureau section. And as you can see from the design, we just have a couple of things, right? So we have the navigation and so on. So I think we should build a layout, right? We're still using the same navigation, we're still using the same footer. So it's wise for us to build some sort of auth layout. That means every page that we'll be having within the auth flow will share the same layout. So it's very easy to do with Next.js. And the way we'll go about that is in the auth part, right? So this is the first one, right? And we could not actually give it a layout here because it's just in the very beginning. So what we'll do is to obviously just wrap this around some sort of created layout if we want, or we could just create a layout.tsx file, right? So I think everything, not really everything though, but for most things under this project, they're going to share the same layout here. So yeah, so it's more of an e-commerce and everything shares the same layout. There's nothing like, I don't think there is a dashboard though, but I don't think in this presentation we'll be doing anything that to do with dashboard. So we can as well just use the layout here. So what I'm going to do, we have a layout here. This is actually the layout for the entire application. We could create a kind of folder specific layout if you want, which makes sense. And then yeah, so what we'll do now, go to page. We're just going to copy everything that we have here and take it to layout, right? So within the body, I'm going to paste it in. So the things we need is the navbar. We don't need the hero section. That is specific to whatever you're building. And whatever we have here is specific to whatever you're building as well, right? Yeah, so we don't need all of this. So I think the children now will come into here, right? Between the navbar and the... All right, and yeah, so we can just put the children there, and this will render every other page that will wrap it around, which makes sense. And then we can include the footer. I can just import this one. So one other thing I think a little bit of configuration I will do is that we no longer need the navbar here. We no longer need the footer, as the case may be. Right. Okay. So let's remove the footer. Let's remove the navbar because we are sharing the same layout, right? So you can still have the footer and the, yeah, see the shop we now have the footer. The navigation, let's go to the home page. We have the navbar. We still have the footer. So that makes sense a lot, right? You can easily just go to the shop page and then we still have all of these components because we are using a shared layout, right? So this is exactly how you worry about that. And now that we have the shared layout, we just know that what we need to build is the actual page, right? We need to build in the oh, this is not the shop page. Sorry about that. We need to build out the shop page, right? So yeah, so this is how we go about it. And yeah, so the first thing we do is to build out this component. It's going to have a very limited height. Going to have a very limited height, and the way we go about that is so what we're going to do is go to shop, go to page, and shop hero page is what we put here. Call it the shop hero page. Okay, so this is shop hero page. No, shop hero section. Sorry about that. Right, and then which other section do we need, right? So let's create all the relevant sections we'll be needing. So we'll be needing the filters section. It's going to be filter section, shop filter section, So this is actually our shop filter section. And then we have the shop card section, shop product section, we can call it that. So we can have shop filter section, not TSL, no, shop product section, sorry about that. So shop product section. Okay, shop product section. We have all of this here. Okay, so yeah, so that's the shop product section. So we'll be having this one, and also we'll be having this part, this pagination part. So we actually make all of this. We actually use Architetural logic to make all of this work. Later on when we're integrating the APIs, right? So yeah, so let's separate it. This is short pagination section. So pagination. I think pagination should be its own component. Yeah, I think it should just be its own component. But for now, I think this works, no problem. Right, so that's good. And so we have this banner section. So we're going to have the show banner section. Right, so that's the show banner section. We have it right here. And all we have to do now is to bring them into the actual shop page, everything. Right, so the shop hero section, shop filter. So after that, we have the shop product section. And then we have the shop banner section. Okay, and then we have, that is all. Right, so this is how the sections we'll be working on. You can remove this import because that comes by default. Right, so now we want to play around a couple of things. Let's build out what we have in the actual hero section. Okay, so now let's build the actual shop hero section. I'm sorry about all the pausing. I had to take my baby somewhere. Okay, so I think we're good now. What we have to do is to build out this part, right? And this is more of a BG image, if you ask me. Right, we already have it. I think we have two variations of it, but that's fine. So what we want to do is to go to our Tailwind config.ts. So we're going to do a very similar stuff, but this one is going to be the shop hero. So images, okay, so images, public images, and then we have the hero, right? So what I want to use though is the shop hero that we have. So we have shop hero, we have shop hero full. So let's use this one first. So we're going to do shop underscore hero, the PNG. So we can come in here and do the sections, like the section, class name, the shop hero. Okay. Height, we can give it a predefined height, it's not that much. So what we have here is just 316, right? So we can do 316 pixel, right? So that would be our height. So you can see it's coming in nice and clean. And other thing we need is to make sure that the text itself is positioned at the center. So now let's craft that text. So we just have a div that we can define here. And in this div, we're going to be having the actual text. The first one is shop, and the other one is a combination of different things, right? So yeah, we have a text, which is home, right? And then we have a chevron right, and then shop. So yeah, you can just put this as a flex, give it a gap of say 2, and style this to be from bold, right? And yeah, I think the shadow will be black in color anyways. And then the shell, this one is actually a title related something. So let's see the sizing of this. It's medium and 48. Yeah, okay, so let's do font medium and text. Let's do 48 pixel. Right. Alright, the distance in between this and this isn't that much, maybe directly, directly beneath it. Alright, so yeah, font medium. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to try to position this guy at the exact middle. So you can do flex, justify center, then accept center. Yeah, that's good, but we want it to be a column something. Okay. Yeah, so we have the justify center here and items. So we want to do, let's do items end. See the behavior of that one. That takes it there. Okay, so justify. And do justify end. Justify end doesn't take it anywhere. Now that's strange. Okay, so let's think about this properly. Why it's not shifting. So we know that if we do it like this, oh, okay, this would have worked if we put everything. Let me undo all of this. If we put everything here, so that should have worked if everything is there, I think. Yeah, it should have. Okay, so not really this div because this is a different container. All right. So yeah, so this is the way we go about it. I'm just going to try to refresh this page and see some of the changes we might be having, right? So yeah, I think that is it. That is it for the shop section. We are good to go. And the other thing we want to worry about is the filtration section, right? So we're going to worry about this part. And the way we go about it is to... All right, there we go. And hope you guys are still following. So now let's build out the filter part of this project. So I'm going to come in here, I'm just going to change this to section. Right, so in this section, we want to worry about all of this, right? So we have some showing the results and obviously we have some options. Right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to group them. So everything here can be one div and everything on the right will be in one div. So we're going to be having two divs, left and right. So on the left div, what we can do is to set up the filtering. So each of them will have their own separate divs, if that makes sense. Right, so I can just do a div here and I have to do one. Okay, this filter, this and this should be the same. So okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. They should have their own respective actions if you ask me. Okay, 5, 6. Okay, so let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, this and this should be in one div. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so that's fine. And then the other one has to do with this. So I should just create this first. This looks more reasonable than what I just saw. Right, so let's do the first div. And then we'll have this second div. So the first div is going to basically just have a text show, and it's going to have some sort of inputs. Alright, so input, we already installed the input component from the Shadcn library if you follow up with the first lesson. And so it's just going to be a number here. So let's say the type is number. Now we can be able to increment or decrement. Alright, so page is white, so the width, we can give it a width and we can give it a respective height. So yeah, 55 is actually squarish. 55 pixel in the width and 55 pixel for the height. Very good. And what else, right? So we have to make sure that we flex off of this, and the gap is going to match exactly what we have here, which is 17 pixel. All right, so let's do the same thing for shorts. Oh, that's at least sort by. So that's sort by, and it's going to be, we should sort by should even be like, you know, a drop down, right? So I think the way they did it here is just a normal text, but that's not going to be the case. What we're going to do, we need the select component from the Shadcn library. So if we just select, we could just select component Shadcn. There we go. Okay, so this is, we need something like this. So yeah, first of all, we have to install this, and I can go here, and what I'm going to do is just go to the bottom, and I just want to obviously make a copy of this one. So paste it in here. Let's install the select component. So while it's installing, we can as well just open up the code and copy it out, right? So this is everything we've been needing for the select to work, which is very handy. And then we can paste that in here. And also we need a way to, you know, all the imported stuffs has to be put on top. Okay, so we can come in here and put everything right there. Okay. Alright, so we might not be needing some components too, but let's see. Sorry. Let's see what we have, right? And okay, comments of Radix UI. Blah, blah, blah. So where are we doing that? Okay, so I think we're good now. Yeah, so here we basically have something like this. So in our own case, we are going to have it kind of, you know, similar to this in terms of the width, which is what we have now. It should be responsive to the, you know, to the text. Yeah, so so we can just do filter by. So what we can do is select a filter. Let's set filter by type. Right, so let's do type, let's do default here. So you do default here. Then will maybe the type, maybe the price later on. Price, and maybe category, which is similar to the type. So we can make do with those two for now. Other things can definitely like come up, you know, later on, right? And so we can be able to play more with them, whatever we find, right? So you can come in here with the sort filter. So you can just do filter. All right. Okay, so that's good. And one other thing I would do is to make sure that the items are well positioned vertically. So by using the item center flag, yeah, that's good. And that way we can have enough. Okay, so let's improve the width of that input in a way. So we're going to improve the width of 55. We're going to do 65. Okay, so it's a little bit wider, right? Very good, very good. Yeah, so the same thing we want to do with this select, right? In terms of the height, not really the width. I'm not modifying the width, but I would modify the height. Right, so modify the height there. Okay, we can paste this in here. Okay, so we're going to just continue, and the way we're going to do this is the filter. I think they have a little bit of bold. Well, not really bold. They're just a little bit bigger. I'm just going to come in here and do text 20 pixel. The same thing with the sort. Okay, so something like that. Okay, so one other thing we do is to make sure that they are flexed. Come in here and do flex. Let's do gap 8. Okay, yeah, something like that. Okay, so yeah, we're done with the this section of it. So now what we want to do is, let's not forget the background. This is the background that we have, more of the primary background. So I'm just going to come in here and do bg and paste in the background that we need into it. Right, so that would be our background. So I think we have some padding on both the top and the bottom, so we're going to add that. So we do py 32 or 31 as the case may be. All right, we're just going to proceed, right? So I think we already have the right section. I'm just going to go over this left section, that's the left part, and let's see what we have. So what is what we have? So we want to be able to build out all of this part, right? So to build that out, just need to import the things that are necessary, right? So you come in here and just do filter, which is more of an image, then source images and slash. So filter icon, I think. So let's check our images. Filter underscore icon, png. Alright, so filter icon, we should be able to have that now, I think. Very good. So we have the text, which is filter. Filter. So we can just make this a block scope. Very good. And then we have this list icon, right? So what we're calling this? Is it list or grid something, right? I think it's grid icon, so there it is. So yeah, we basically have that. Just gonna copy this and put it here. This one would be our grid icon. So that's the grid icon right here. And then we have another one. I don't know what that is. That list. Let's check our list. Okay, good. That's it. So yeah, so we have another one which is more of a list icon. We don't need a div for this, but I just want to put it within one. And then we have the list icon. So this will be grid, and this one will be a list. Right, there we go. And then we have this separator. Right, so we can come in here and just do separator from Shadcn, separator. On the import it from components, we're going to change the orientation on this one to vertical, and let's give it some height. So the height we're going to give it should be commensurate or the same with I think this one, like 37 pixel. So you can come in here and just do 37 pixel. Right, so let's see what we have. Let's refresh it. We can't see anything because everything is is horizontal, right? So for us to be able to see that, we need to display this one as a row, then we can see it. So after that, we need this kind of text. I'm going to copy that text and just paste it in, right? So something like this. Okay, so this is it. Everything's going to be flex. Let's do the first gap of it. Let's see what we have. Let's see our vertical guy is coming into the picture. We have to change the color a bit. So the color here is like this, right? So I think we can just do border. Oh, this is supposed to be inside the class name. Border. Paste it in there. That should be the actual color. So you can see it's coming in as expected. We have to make sure they are all aligned properly, right? So the filter and this has to be flexed out. So we have flex gap in it too. Item center. Okay, very good. So we can just do item center here as well. Sweet. And also we'll just make sure that each of them is overable, right? So on over we want to make sure we have the cursor set. So over cursor with bullet pointer right here. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it in other areas that we might be needing it, right? So like this. So I'm just going to put it there. And same with it. I'm going to hold the Alt key. Same with this. And this as well, I think. Which I don't want. Separator, we don't need it. So I think those three is fine. So you can put the class name and we'll paste the over there. So each of them is going to have their own over state, which makes sense, right? So we have all of those, right? Separator doesn't need one. So remove this one from separator. Separator doesn't need an overset, so that's fine. Okay, so let's tie this text right here. So let's do this. Can actually be a p tag, actually, not really a div, but you can do whatever you want. Okay, so let's I like this one out. So poppins the 16, and that's just text normal, to be honest. P, not caps P. Okay, we can do text normal right here. Okay, alright, so I think that is good for the most part. So one other thing we'll do is to share it, right? So this is what we have on the right hand side. Then give a column here. Right hand side. Okay. While whatever we have here is to the left hand side. Okay, so yeah, good for us, right? So what we can do, we can actually use a flex property to basically like separate them. So justify between an item center. Very good. So the spacing on the sides though, well, it's going to be justify around. So we can do flex colon gap 8, but justify around for sure. That's crazy. Justify around, we just take it too far away from what we intended. Yes, let's justify between, and then we just add some sort of spacing to the left and right. Okay, wait, sorry. Justify around, keep it. So medium flex row. That should work. Very good. Yeah, that should work. So on mobile, it's going to stack up like this, right? Which makes sense. Yeah, so we can just do padding 4. Right, so move px4. And the result has this. Yeah, so that makes sense. Good, because we can filter, we can even make this like smaller on small devices, or take it to the next line. What do you think? Yeah, so on small devices, we want to even hide the separator. So hidden, so medium, and show it. It's gonna be hidden here. What about this? Let's see if there's a way we can, break this. But I don't think it's gonna be a problem, right? So we'll remove the separator for small devices. We just have showing what we want to of 32 results, which makes sense to be honest, right? And we can filter. All right. So yeah, I think this is good. We'll worry about the actual implementation and validation later on when we'll get to the API and the integration part. Right. So we're just going to proceed now. We're going to proceed with the other section we have in here. Right. So yeah. So this section is actually the list of product cards. So as I said before, we already have like a component we're using to display the product, right? So since that component is available, we can as well just close out every other page we have. So we have the hero, we have the filter, and the product is what we want to start building. So we can rename this to section, and in here we're just going to loop through whatever, right? So yeah, if you notice, we've already done something similar, I think, in our product section. So this is it. So we just make like a duplicate and make this as many as can be. So this will be our dummy data for now, since we don't have an actual API yet. By the way, we'll be working on that in subsequent videos. Please just drop your feedback if that's what you're interested in. Alright, so yeah, we're going to obviously just do something like this. And then copy that and paste it in here. So we already have the product card. It's a reusable component. I'm just going to paste it in. So everything here is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Is actually 16 altogether. Yeah, 16. I don't know how many we have already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we just need a duplicate of this. 8 plus 8 should be 16. So just duplicate that there. And let's see what we'll be having in that section. Oh, sweet. So we basically have everything now, right? So you see, it's actually a reusable component. Everything will, will specify within the card can be used, right? So you can see it's coming in as expected, right? So yeah, if you want to basically like know how we achieve this card, we've already built it in the first module of this lesson. So you can go to the first video, and yeah, you should be able to, get a hold of how we built out this component. All right, so let's do some styling, right? So the margin away from the top is like 46. We already have some here, right? So then what I would do is for us to be able to, match it properly, I'm just going to add a little margin, maybe 30. Let's go 40. Okay, yeah, something like that, yeah. So yeah, I think what we got was 46. Okay, 46. Oh, sweet. So by default, it should just be responsive for you because we've already built them in a way that is already responsive. So you have little or nothing to worry about. Okay, so now we are going to gradually move into the other section. So one thing I did notice though is that the spacing between the cards here seems to be more, right? So let's check it out. Spacing here and here is 32. Let's check our own, if our gap is 32. Oh, our gap is 20, so we have to make this 32. Sweet. Yeah, so we have the same gap now, which makes sense. Okay, so we're going to go over to the last part, right? Not really the last part, we have to build out the pagination first, right? So I have to build out the pagination section. So I think it's not here, but I will add it. Show pagination section. Okay, so yeah, so let's build out the pagination. It's very easy because Shadcn already has all of these things. So all you have to do is to go over to Shadcn, and what we want to do is to look for the pagination component. You can see right here, you can click on it, you can see how good that looks, right? So this is actually all pre-built, which makes sense a lot. But in our own case, we just have like, custom and next and so on. There are a couple of things you could do if you want to, right? But pagination itself takes in a lot and lot of properties that are easily extendable, right? So I'm just going to install the package. Okay, come in here and just paste it over. Hit the enter key. So this is going to install the pagination package for us, right? Which is a good thing. So what's left is to be able to go through it and implement it, right? So let's grab a couple of the codes that we have here for this one. So this is everything. So I can just grab everything from here and paste it up here, right? And also I can grab everything here to the very end. So I think it's still installing. So it's done installing though. Okay, so yeah, so this is it. We have the pagination there. So what I need to do is grab all of this. As I said before, we're going to grab everything to the very end, right? And yeah, so let's paste it around here. So let's not forget the section. So you can as well just use section. All right, so let's see what we have. Boom, there we go. So you can see we just have our default, pagination element, right, which is right here. So I don't know why we are having this. Let me see why that is. Could be because of this component. No, not really. I think it's due to the audio component. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Not a problem at all. Right. Okay, so what I want to do is to make sure that this thing matches exactly what we have here. So yeah, so we have 1, 2, 3, so on. So we just have 1, 2, 3, and then we have next. We don't have like a previous something. So you can take this off. So that should give us 1, 2, 3, and then next. So we don't have like a sampling selector. So we don't need these ellipses. So we can take that off as well. Boom, we can see that we already have close to what we want. So the thing now, we have to style it properly, right? Because I think each of them basically have their own styling for active and inactive states. So what we're going to do is to, control this, right? So if this something is active, we have is active and so on. So you can see they are all linking to some sort of href or something you call it, which makes sense. And yeah, so this is something we're going to do. We're going to go over to Redis UI. Pagination. Because as I said before, the pagination is actually basically built off of the Redis UI. Everything on Shadcn is just a combination of Redis UI and Tailwind and other stuff, by the way. But most of the things you'll be finding, definitely you should see them in the actual Redis UI documentation. Okay, so let's go to documentation. Okay, so I'm looking for pagination here. MNOP, right? Should I just search for it? Should I have a search here? That's weird. Maybe primitives. Okay, not sure what's going on there, but let's open it up from Shadcn. This is everything we have. These are the different one: pagination link, pagination previous. Okay, each of them we can actually give them, a class name, which makes sense. And also at the same time, we can give them, I'm looking for the active state. So we need some sort of, active state for us to know which is active and which is not. So we can control the CSS of that. Okay, so let's do active is active. Not quite handy. Well, I was expecting something kind of different. All right. Let's see. There could be a way we can do this, anyways. Let's do the default. So if it's active, we know what to do. So what we're going to do is we give all this like a custom. Let's build it out customly, right? Especially if it has to do with the pagination item. So I'm going to open it up from here, which I already did. So yeah, we're looking for pagination item, which is this one. So it's just a link, and the class name, whatever class name we pass over to the component, will be used, right? So this is it. This is the class name. That's to say that if you pass any class name to this thing, you should be able to get to the link element right here. So that should be easy. So what we're going to do is to go in here, class, and we want to be able to mimic this, right? So let's do this one for an empty state first. So height is going to be 60, and so height is going to be 60 pixel. So also the width. So width is going to be 60 as well, right? You can see it's already coming into shape, right? And the background is going to be this. So this depends here. So what I'm just going to do, I'm going to use the utility cn to be able to concatenate different classes. So now let's import this one, and let's close out this. Okay, so we can do comma here. So what I'm just going to do here is do bg and paste it in. Don't forget your hash. Okay, this is what we have, right? Which just makes sense. So we don't want to have maybe any over effect. Maybe we'll just take off the over bg. It's the same thing, nothing changes. Okay, oh, the link, this is actually related to the link, so we have to make sure that the link doesn't change. Okay, so yeah, that's the pagination link. Let's go over it, and it basically has some over attributes, right? Yeah, so we can maybe just take you can modify here directly if you want, which is what I'm going to do, or you can just let's modify it everywhere. So we'll just do bg. Okay, so the big G has to be exact same thing as this. Okay, so let's over it. Let's see what we have. We still have it. That's weird. Okay, so the thing is, I need to look for that background and take it off. Obviously, I don't know where it's coming from, which is very weird. So maybe let's make this. Over. Alright, so over. So the BG should remain the same. Let's check it out now. Good. You can see. Okay, so it's more of an over attribute. So yeah, so this same thing I did here. Maybe I can just take it off and take it in here. So that would be for the pagination item. Yeah, so we can just put it here and put everything in. Yeah, very good. So the other thing now is if it's active, or whatever, right? So let me change this to flex, justify center, and item center. Boom, there we go. So now one other thing we would love to change now is the rounded status of this thing. So it's rounded by 10 pixels. So let's change that. Rounded 10 pixels. Okay, good. And if it's active, right? So we don't even want to, do the active state within here, right? So we're going to just take it off. Let's look for anything that has to do with this active. Okay, ghost is whatever. So I don't think this is actually very much needed. So let's just do outline the way it was before. Okay. Okay, so this is outline. What about if you don't do anything about it? Now I see. That's crazy. Yeah, so the link still needs to be of the same width and height as the, as the other elements, right? So, so variant. Let's see what variant takes in. Link, secondary, default, destructive, outline. So I only saw ghost, so let's do ghost again. Okay, so ghost is there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment this out first and leave it as black. So I want to be able to, grab the difference, the actual core difference between, I want to put it to the same height, so to speak. So okay, we have 60 pixels, we have a width of 60 pixels as well. Very good. You can see that the link now is extending to the actual shape of the application, right? So yeah, we can ghost it out if we want now, right? So you can see these are all clickable, which makes sense. And also we have to make sure the text is 20, right? 20 pixel. Okay, and yeah, well, we're almost there. Yeah, so we just need a way to be able to, give it a space and do other stuff, right? So yeah, the active state. So when you overwrite it or when it's active, we need to change that. Right, so when it's actually active, so you come here when it's active, we want to give it a different background. Okay, so let's put this within the brackets. So when it's active, we need this kind of behavior. That's text primary, by the way, but let's see. So we can just do bg primary. Okay, so 2 is active now. So 2 is going to be there, right? So if it's active, over is gone. Over will still be bg primary. Yeah, so when it's active like this, over will still be, primary. So the text has to be white, as you can see from the design. So we can do text white. Very good. Right, so with this we'll be able to achieve a very custom looking, so when you override, the text should still be white. So when you over, text should still be white, which is good. So when you override, not a problem. Yeah, so yeah, so the rest we can play around this. Okay, so we've been able to achieve a very highly custom kind of setup, which I'm very proud of. So So now we want to make sure that all the pagination content are spaced accordingly. So in here, we're going to have a class. We're going to just do flex, right? And gap, let's do it. Okay, so let's look for the exact gap between here and here. Okay, so how do I do this? I'm not on dev mode, by the way. So how I normally do this is you can just select an element, right? And hold your Alt key, your Alt button on your keyboard, right? Over the other element you want to compare it with, right? And then you should be able to have this value 38 pixel right there, right? How that makes sense. So the way you do is select an element, you over the other element you want to compare it with, while holding down Alt button, then you should be able to see the the spacing or the margins or the patterns in between. So here we basically have like 38 pixel space in between. Very good. Right, very good. So now we want to separate this from the top, from here and here. That's 70 pixel. Yeah, so you might ask, why did I not just add the margin top within this component? No, because this component should not, should not have some outer sort of paddings, margins, and so on. Because you could use this component somewhere else. You don't want to be having those extra overrides. Okay, so margin top, self-pixel. Okay, so margin bottom is like 85. So I can just do my basically. Okay, sweet. There we go. So yeah, so what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to make it a little bit responsive and do something like shop page 1. Page is equal to 1, something like that. So let's try it out. Let's rephrase this. Boom, you can see page is equal to 1, which makes sense. Alright, so 2 can be page equal to 2 and so on. But most of the time, we don't want the situation whereby the entire page reloads. We might just want to do it without reloading those pages. So let me remove every form of unused inputs. Right there. And also, I'm just going to copy this and replace all these with it. And this is going to just be 2. Right, this will be 3. Okay. Maybe type on the next, something like that. Yeah, this should be able to, work out the way we want it to. You can see we have the page 3, go back, and 1, this page 1. Right, so yeah, I think that makes sense. So we're going to build out this other part, which has to do with the banner. Right, so the way we build this out is very straightforward. We already know how we work with components like this. Right, so I'm just going to go over here and grab what we'll be needing. Right, so what we're going to be needing here is obviously a couple of things. So we're needing this banner section to start with, and we'll just rename this to section. Right, and what we do here is to obviously just reuse something that we already have. Right, so let's do const data array of object. So here we have the icon URL. Right, so the icon just goes slash images then slash. Okay, so we're going to look for the exact icon. You're going to look for the exact icon. I don't remember the exact name, but let's see. That's like a cup icon. Or a trophy. Okay, yeah, banner icon 1 all the way to 4. That makes sense. Thank you. banner icon underscore 1, I think, png. Okay, so then we have a title. Title there is high quality, and then we have a description. The description here is this, so you can copy this and have it pasted right here. So we replicate the same thing for the second one. So this is going to be icon 2. Alright, so this is going to be icon 3, and this will be free shipping. And then the description is gonna be this. And let's go to the final one, which is the fourth one. So this is going to be the icon 4, and you can copy all of those, and then we can paste it here. And also this will be the description, so you can have it pasted in here. Alright, so now that we have all of this, the very next thing we do is to obviously define its height. Height is like 270. So you can come in here and just do bg height 270 pixel. So what's the background of this? This is the background. So yeah, so we're going to obviously build something out. As an initial layout, I'm just going to loop through. Let's have a div here. So we're going to loop through a couple of the things that we already have, which is data, map. So we have the item there, we have the index, right? So we're going to display the div. Now, first of all, let's put our key here. It's the most important thing you do, so that the DOM can be able to, the virtual DOM can be able to know the position of that particular element within the actual virtual DOM. All right, so we'll put the index there, right? And then what we're going to do here is that we're going to basically just have two divs. So one will house the image. So this is going to be item dot icon URL. So the auth is here is just icon, right? And then we have another div, and this will be responsible for both the title, which is going to be item dot title, and then the other one will be item dot description, right? So we have to style this a bit. So this is a color there, so you can use the text that. Okay, so font semi-bold, text 25. So this should be text custom gray. Okay, yeah, this should be our text custom dark, by the way, custom black or something like that. So you can flex this with a gap of maybe 4. Okay, alright, let's see what we have so far. So this is it, and yeah, looking good. So one other thing we'll do is to spread it across the entire width. So the way we will do that is actually outside of this component. Right, so we can go to close out of this. Go to components, go to sections, go to shop, then go to the banner section, which is here. So it's going to just be flex column, gap it, and the flex row. Justify between. Okay, so yeah, that should give us a very, very good insight of what to expect. Let's see this one. Let's see. You can see it still looks too very good. And one other thing I think we can do is to reduce the size of this title. Maybe you can just do text. You can just do text normal, I think. Let's try that out. For mobile devices. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so and also this thing has to be vertically aligned with the image. So the way we achieve that is by doing items center. Okay, not really from there. I mean from this one. Very good. Okay, so that's almost close to perfection, but not yet. So I have to make sure that everything is centered in the middle. And the way we do that, we already have the height, right? So we can just do flex, right? You can just do flex. That should be able to. Okay, this is under flex. So we just do the width of this to be full. Yeah, so yeah, that's that works. That works. So yeah, so the sides can actually just be 53 for the sides. So what we can do is can do P4 MD. You can specify 53 pixel right there. Okay, so you can see how good that is. Smooth. Yes, I think this title change should not just be for mediums, be for maybe extra large, I think. Yeah, something like that, so that we can still have a very good view. Yeah, so this height is really from medium upwards. It doesn't really apply to to mobile phones, right? So we can do py of system. Okay. Do py of 0 and enlarge devices. Okay, so let's enlarge this. Very good. You can see how neat that is. The transition was so nice. Okay, so now we know we're able to achieve this, right? And what else do we want to remove? So one thing we would love to change is this horizontal scroller. It's so annoying seeing it. Okay, so let's add some margins to these cards. You can see on both sides it basically like changes a bit. So what we're going to do the same thing we did on the actual page. So you can go to app, go to page, see what we did here for our product. You can see we separated. We just need this. We take it into the shop page. Right, so put it in there. Yes, we're going to just make sure that this shop banner section is placed inside. Okay. MX130 and so on. I'm not see the changes. Okay, there we go. It's not changing actually. Let's see, why is that? I don't want to change it in here. It doesn't make much sense. Oh, this is the banner. I'm in the wrong spot. It's supposed to be in the product part, not the banner. Okay, so you can see we've been able to move that around, and we don't have the crazy horizontal scroller anymore, which is cool. So yeah, we've been able to achieve this page, which is so cool. And then in the next section, I'm going to give to you a kind of a guideline we'll be taking in subsequent videos, right? And this should basically explain how we want to, develop the app and make it functional, right? Please provide your feedback on what you think, and then yeah, so I'll see you in that section. Okay. Okay, and welcome. Welcome to the final section of this lesson. So here I'm going to be, explaining to you the kind of architectural setup we'll be having with our application, right? So I think I can just, try as much as possible to separate this from the actual design, so we can display them kind of separately. And just put it on the right, and then we have the other one on the left, I think. Okay. Oh no. Okay, so I needed the other one. That's this one. This one. Okay, so this would be for me on the left actually. All right. So yeah, we're going to be, going through the architectural pattern on how we can build out the entire application. Right, so we already know we have some sort of setup which has to do with the client, right? So this is actually the client as we have it. And we're going to worry about the server part, right? So we're going to have the server, and the combination of the client and the server makes it very cool for us to be able to make some sorts of interactions, right? So I'm just going to do this too. So client, as we already know, this is actually built up with Next.js. So this is Next.js 14 to be specific, and we basically have we're using Shadcn, we're using Figma motion, yeah, and also we'll be using a Tailwind, right? We're using Tailwind. When did we complete without Tailwind? So we're using Tailwind for as the major stack for the client. I've already seen in previous videos. So now the thing now is on the server part, we need to do something similar, right? So we're still going to be using Next.js server actions, right? We're going to be using Next.js server actions, and after that, we're going to be doing a couple of other things, right? So other things can actually include, right? Can actually include a couple of things that is not like completely necessary. But what I do recommend is we need Stripe for payment, for checkout. Okay, we could actually have a very unique link for that. So we could just do, okay, so let's do a couple of things. Let's do Control A. You can click on this text button. Let's take everything to the left. Very good, good for us. So we can put something here for us to know the difference. Very good. So we can do that same way here. And the next thing we do, same way here actually. Okay, not sure why it's not coming up, but yeah, something like that. So we'll use Next.js server actions. We'll be using the Next.js server actions. We'll be using Stripe for checkout. Okay, very good. So I can enlarge this a bit because this seems to be much more elaborate. Okay, so the question now is what else? All right. So on the backend, we're going to be using Zod for foundation. So also here, in this front-end task, maybe I can make it bigger a bit. Okay, so text, take it to the left, and okay, there we go. Okay, very good. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the same thing we did in the first one, right? So you're just going to come in here, give a break, and paste it in there. So with this, and also with Tailwind actually, right? So come in here and paste it. So now we can actually see our setup, right? So we're using all of these kind of frameworks, right? So we have Sword Foundation, right? And that is very cool. And I think on the front end as well, we can actually be doing a couple of other things, right? I don't think we have much forms, but let's take a look if we have much forms. So if there are like lots and lots of forms, we might need to just use Formic for form validation, right? There isn't. It's just like, oh, basic form. So we have one under the billing details, which I don't think we do need directly, but I think it's fine. We can actually use let's use Formic. Formic. Yes, we use Formic as part of the form validation, right? So yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's good for a front end thing. So on the back end, we'll continue with this. We have Zero validation, we have Stripe for our checkout, we have Next.js server actions. Then we should be having the MongoDB for database, right? Non-SQL database. So I think we should be using some sort of ORM, right? And yeah, there are lots of them. I think Prisma. Can't we use Prisma with MongoDB? I think it's something possible. Something I've done before, but not sure. Let me check it out. Prisma with MongoDB. Okay, you can see start from scratch with Prisma ORM using MongoDB and whatever, right? So yeah, we can use Prisma as our ORM. So the other ORMs like Bini or whatever, those are actually like Python specific. But I think in this lesson, in this project, we'll just be using Prisma, for ORM, right? And then what else do we need for the? Yes, we need some sort of like toasting library. That would be for the front end basically. So we could actually just use Shadcn toast. No problem, we already have Shadcn, so it's fine. So for toasting our stores, we can use Shadcn. And also we'll be playing around with Stripe for checkout and put it here. We'll be setting up webhook to basically detect successful and invalid payments as well, right? And so okay, so I think to make it very much more easy, let's go from the beginning to the end, right? Yeah, so we need this the first page. So this is everything we'll be needing, right? So these are just like dummy setup and stuff like that. Right, so we actually be worrying about how we generate like the schema for all of this in a bit, right? And I think that's going to be the very next thing we discuss, right? Yeah, I think this is it. This is everything we will be needing, yeah, for the most part. And if we have all of this, we can actually start with proper development, right? So this would be for a kind of a dev-only environment, right? And say dev only. So if you're actually moving it out, you probably want to make it like production ready. So what I would recommend you do, if we have enough time, we'll still do it in the course of this lesson. And you can come in here and just do prod environment. Okay. Okay, so we need a way to be able to store, upload content, right? So I think we'll be using Cloudinary for our uploads, right? So yeah, so we can actually hit the Cloudinary server, upload. Okay, either server or client upload is going to be through Cloudinary. Cloudinary. So this is going to be like directly straight out of the box, right? So this is going to be directly linked to the server or the client, as the case may be. Both of them can can make the upload, right? So what we can do, just click on there. Okay, so see, you can do this here and straight up to here. Good. So yeah, so this is the way we want to do it. We can upload with Cloudinary, right? And we can do that for both the server side and the client side. So a production environment, in case you want to start, deployment, what I normally recommend is to obviously just create an EC2 instance, right? So we're going to have some sort of a Docker container to be able to do some of CI/CD for us. So there we'll be using ECS to basically just we deploy our containerized Next.js application. So we'll be needing the AWS ECS, and yeah. So which other thing do we need? So for secure coverage, I think. So we'll actually be using Cloudflare. So to make sure that everything that we do goes around the Cloudflare ecosystem. So AWS basically has something referred to as the AWS ECR. Yeah, ECR. So if you don't know what this is, I'm just going to search it out for you. It's just a way for you to be able to make your application much more secure, right? So once you have this kind of setup, you can be able to, make it like way much more secure. And it's just like, okay, you already have your application, but you need to channel some of the requests through some servers, right? It can actually be through Cloudflare or whatever. Boom. So this is why you basically need your ECR, right? So this is actually the pictorial representation of it. I'm just going to show you if I could zoom in more. Maybe I can just save the image, copy image address or something. Okay, so yeah, you can actually see the setup right here. So it's very straightforward, right? As you can see, it's doing quite a lot for you. And at the end of it, I'm gonna go to the very end. If I could scroll, I hope I can. Yes. So there we go. Okay, so now this is it. You do your code, we containerize the Next.js application, and the very next thing is we push it over to the ECR. ECR will do a lot of things for you, right? You compress, encrypt, control access to images, and versioning, and so on. So it's just going to do all this stuff behind the scene. And the interesting part is that you're going to run the containers, right? So we already mentioned that we have some sort of ECS setup and also and the rest. So the ECS is going to run your containers. If, for example, you have more than one containers as well, you're going to run it. And obviously, it's just going to be able to give you a proper response. In most of the case, you just if you're setting up your application with an actual SQL CI, right, which is something I would include as well, because I think we just need all of this setup for us to be, actually production ready. So all of this, just going to link this to this and this to this, right? So let's click on here again. Okay, and then we can link all of this to this. So all of this all together. So we can link it over to this, right? So yeah, basically have the what's it called? So we have our ECRO. So yeah, we link this to our SQL CI. SQL CI for continuous. Here's the CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development, right? So yeah, so this way we can have a very robust approach to handling the entire thing, right? So yeah, so if you want to learn more about this, you might want to just check out the AWS docs. There are rich articles regarding each of these, where you can get proper explanation and all, right? So just a way for us to have to, the first thing we do, we containerize this application, right? And then the way we do that is just for us to add a Docker file to our application, right? So I think I'm just add that somewhere around here. So let's zoom in, take this to the top a bit. So it's going to be containerized. All right, so that's going to be the containerized Next.js application, right? So if we have that, sorry about that. Okay, yeah. So from here, I have to, sorry. Okay, so from here, basically, when you have it containerized, you can easily just push it over to its instance, and then ECS can help you to basically manage the containerization of stuff and being able to push your containers and so on. And then you can actually have Circle CI to basically, whenever you merge a pull request to the main branch, you can be able to trigger, your AWS server to be able to make automatic redeployment. So we're actually setting up quite a lot, right? Let me just know what you guys think, because I think this is actually a very huge thing, and we can actually go as production ready as we can, but it just depends on the kind of feedback I get from the team, right? All right, so yeah, so this is actually the architecture we'll be going with. And also, what I'm going to do is to start worrying about the kind of models we'll be needing for this project, right? And I'm just going to click on this. We have diagram as code right here. I'm just going to click on that. I'm going to click on, so we have a couple of them. We have cloud architecture, we have entity relationship, we have sequence, we have cloud architecture, we have flowchart, we have AI diagram, right? So I think I'm just going to click on entity relationship for now, right? So yeah, so AWS is very cool for you to be able to draft models like this. Gives you ability to do some crazy cool stuff, right? So these are different models that we already have. So we need to build up our own model that will be needed specifically for this project, right? So and the way we go about that, it's kind of very straightforward, and we have to start up from the things we need, right? Things we need. So we need to be able to create a product, right? So we need to define that product. So yeah, these are where we talk about relationship. I'm just going to comment out a couple of these. Okay, comment out everything. And this one, I'm just going to, call, oh, we need a user, right? User should be able to log in first and do stuff. So that's fine. We just need a display name for the user. We need the role, team role. Not sure how good that is, but there are a couple of things we could do. The user basically have a full name, which is display name, theme role. We don't need teams, that's fine. And what else does a user have? Email, right? So user has an email. So you can come here and just do email string, which is fine. And this is a user for us. Okay, which is perfect. So one of the things we do is that we want to make sure that every user can be able to create a product. Not every user create a product. A user with a team role admin can be able to create a product, right? So yes, let's create product. So this one will be product. So the icon here is just maybe parcel. That's a very good product icon that we can find. Can we see furniture? Don't think so. I think what icon can we feasibly use for a product? Let's do box, something like that. Yeah, box is a product. That's fine. So yeah, you can make it change the color to whatever you want. Could do red, right? So that will just change it for you here, as you can see live. Okay, so what the product will basically have is going to have an ID. You're going to have created by whoever created it is going to be an ID, by the way, and it's going to also have a couple. Let's be consistent. This email row. Okay, created by, and this will have a name for the product. Needs to have a price. Okay, it needs to have, in case it's discounted, it need to have a discounted price. Okay, so a product can actually be suspended as well if it's out of stock. Okay, so we can just do total quantity. This is a number or integer. So that's the total quantity we have remaining on the product, right? So total quantity and then used quantity, something like that. Purchased quantity. So this will be the total number of the product that have been purchased out. So if the total quantity is equal to the purchased quantity, obviously that product is sold out, right? So yeah, so this is exactly how we can go about that. So yeah, every product needs to have an image. So yeah, so this image will be uploaded to Cloudinary, so we can have access to, to the URL, right? So what other thing do we have? Right, so we can actually just create a shareable link for it, but I don't think that is important. So you can like a product or not. So every product can have their own total likes, but I don't see anywhere we are displaying that, which is fine. So if product has a name, it has a description as well. So we just go here and do description. So name and description, this is the name, this is the description, this is the amount, this is the discounted amount. Very good. And okay, so this discounted price, right? Okay, discounted percentage if it's present. Okay, yeah, so we can do that, right? So this are actually like cool things we can worry about, right? Yeah, that's all we'll be needing there, right? So for the shops, we can display all of them and we can filter, right? So we need to have a timestamp somewhere, right? So this would be our timestamp. I think in MongoDB there's a way to basically just pass in timestamp, and you should have access to the created arts, which is a date. Okay, this has to be a colon. Okay, dates. And also we have the updated arts. Okay, yeah, so we'll pass in those timestamps because this is what we can actually be using for filtering and doing stuff, filtering and doing other stuff. Okay, so this is good. I think we basically have all the data models we'll be needing for the short part, right? And so one other thing we would love to consider is, let's go here. So all this is actually like front-end related, not really a back-end thing, I would say. So yeah, so we have a review, right? 5 customer review for a particular person. Yeah, so we want to actually create a review model, and we'll just call this review. So the icon I will specify here is going to be review. Not sure if we have anything review related, but let's see. I'll just say user secret, users, yeah, something like that. And we can just do the color green. Okay, so this is it here. So we'll link them all together in a bit. So yeah, so this is the review we'll get, and the way we'll go about this naturally is, what product are you reviewing? That's the idea of the product. And what rate are you giving? This is just number integer between 1 and 5. This is actually between 1 and 5, and I think I'll leave a comment here. Yeah, this will just be 1 to 5. So yes, that would be our rating, and let me use the word rating, that's much better. And that would be the rating. And also we have our actual review. So we don't want to give a review, I just call it comments. So this is going to be a string. and the user that reviewed, right? So we have reviewed by, so this is going to be ID of the user that reviewed. All right, sweet, right? So we basically have a very good, from here we could do all these computations and so on. So every product basically has like a size attached to it, a size and maybe available colors for that product. So yeah, so we can actually do statics. We can call this one extras. So here we have like the colors. It's going to be an array, right? An array. And then we're going to have the size as well. It's going to be an array or the available size, right? So we have the colors, we have the size. These are just array stuff, right? So there are lots of complexity that we might want to consider here because there could be instances where the color that is available is maxed out, right? Maybe for example we have 5 colors available and someone just purchased like 4 of the items and all of this 4 basically has the same color, right? So we should have like 1 item left. So these are actually extra things that we might want to consider, but I think till then we worry about it, not really a priority at this stage. Okay, so there we go. So basically have like additional information, reviews and so on. So we can add like additional information, additional info, which is going to be a long string, for this for whatever we are doing. Yeah, we could just remove all of this from the name. Yeah, so there's no need for adding column there. Okay, I think we're good. All right, sweet. Okay, so you can get what I'm saying. So this would be our review of a particular product. The product we are reviewing, the rate we're giving to it, the rating, the comment, the person that reviewed it. Right, so and also sometimes we need to not just put all the review in one place. I've seen platforms that kind of approve a review first before they show it on their website. But I kind of find them shady because that is not transparent. Well, let's make our platform really transparent. I think this is good, but we don't need to approve a review before we display it. If someone reviews, buys a product, then if he reviews, then it should just show on the page, directly. So that then everything stays transparent. And also, the person that can actually review can only review a product you've purchased, and you only have one time slot to review that product. So if you review once, you can't review again, right? So it doesn't make sense for you to drop multiple reviews for a specific product. Okay, so we have the related products and so on. We just are just like filtering. Okay, so maybe we can add like a category to this product. Category. Somehow this is going to be an enumeration. It's going to be an enum of some key values, right? So we can just do, whatever we call them, right? So let's see. Yeah, so we can actually call them enum of whatever we kind of create as a category, right? I feel we should just have them. There are different categories, or we can have a product category ID. Yes, I think that's one of that key thing we could do, right? So we could just add a product category ID, and then we can use this one to channel to here, right? So this is your product category. Let's use color and color. All right, so that's fine. So let's say this would be our product category. It's right here. So we just need a name which is string, And what else do we need? So we need a name, and then I think we'll be needing a, whether if it's still active or not, but for most part we can just need a description. So it's going to be optional, by the way. So yes, this is what the category will be all about, right? So this is just a one-time thing that admin will create, and everyone can actually use. Maybe every other sub-admins can use the same categories. Okay, so that's sweet. So let's go over to the next thing, which has to do with I think this one, right? Checkout. Checkout. Okay, so maybe wallet or something. So wallet color, lots of color here. Let's do yellow. So yeah, first of all, we need to know the user. So we need to know the user that is checking out and the quantity. So we need to know the products. So this is going to be an array of objects, right? Of product ID. For example, it's going to be an ID, an actual ID. And then we need the quantity you are buying for that product. Let's say quantity is going to be a number. Quantity is going to be a number, and so on. So this is the way the product will be like. And then we need some sort of payment method. So what we need for the payment method is kind of straightforward. So payment method can just be an unknown. Most likely Stripe for now. We could add other options later, right? So that would be the payment method for us. So we're just, doing all this checkout. So if there's some sort of like discount code for us to apply, I don't know if we already have a place to put a discount, but we'll accommodate for one, right? So we could do discount code. So this is going to be string. Okay, so are we still in order? So we just do an array, right? Okay, so that's okay, that's better. So yeah, payment method, you can just say Stripe or whatever that is. Okay. So then we need a way to be able to track all our transactions. So here we'll actually define the transaction. So transaction has to be, how do we normally refer to a transaction? Let's do check square for now. And this one can actually be purple. So user making a transaction. So we should have a transaction type. Okay, so I think we can proceed. Yes, so the transaction, just use check square. So user making a transaction, we just add maybe like some sort of enum. It can be credits. This can actually be credit or debits. I think for the most part, it's just going to be debit, right? Except maybe you are refunded or something. So okay, so we have the transaction nature, let's say, and then transaction type can actually be an enum of lots of things, right? So this can actually be maybe for purchase, right? So it can actually be for a fund as well, and so on, right? We have the amount, is the number, and we have the status of this transaction. If it's success, so if it's pending, or if it has failed, or maybe we can just have refunded. So these are actually the states I think that are relevant for when drafting the transaction, right? And also we have some of the one that I think is very important. So billing information for a user, right? So we need all of this information. All right. So yeah, we need all of this icon, and here's a billing. Here's a GCP billing, but we know what we're talking about. So color. So color can be anything, right? I don't know what we've used so far, but if we could do white, that would be cool. And so billing takes in the first name, taking the last name, taking the company. So that's an optional field, by the way. Takes in a country, and address, city, takes in the province, zip code, takes in the phone, then it takes in the email address. So this can actually just be nullable, so it's not really a huge deal. And then takes in the email. I think every user basically has an email address, but yeah, we could just add that one again. The additional information about your order. Okay, sweet. Okay, so one other thing we do is we need a model for the contact us. So you're taking your name, email, subject, and message. So let's duplicate this. So this will be contact, and the way contact will work. Let me see if we have like a very cool something. Oh, we have container. That's really interesting. I should have used that before. But then we should have feedback or message. There we go, messenger. Can you square or messenger? Okay, so you need name. We need the email address, which we already have here. So as we need the subject. We need the message. Okay, so that is it. That is good. So, and also remember, all of this stuff will have its own unique timestamp. So they all have timestamp. So let me just include that so we're on the right foot. So close that out. Let's copy that, paste it in this one. Nice, so neat. Alright, so paste it here as well. Okay, so yeah, so this is exactly how the contact model will look like. So we can take all this input and have it saved over. And yeah, so I think for now, for the very first part of this application, we'll just focus on on all of this. So what we're going to do now is to look at the greater picture. So we have bunch and bunch of of components. Let's see how we can make them a little bit better, right? So this is going to be it. Let's change the color. Maybe of contact. Let's give it color. What color are we going to give it? Yellow. Do we have red already? Yeah, I think we do, but it's fine. Let's give contact red. Okay, so now we're going to obviously do a relationship, right? Let's start with, so this is the billing info that we have. So let's look for a way to connect them all together. Okay, so from here, we'll notice that anybody can create a product category, which is fine. We can lead a user can have like many products, or a product can belong to one user. Not really, not really a thing, because we can actually track all the users that have purchased particular products by using the checkout. Right, there's a checkout here. We know all the product has been purchased by some specific users and so on. So what we'll do is to link the category first with the product, right? So product we have one category. So yeah, so let's do that. So we're going to do, let's uncomment this, right? So this is a menu to this something here. You can click here to read more about it. So whenever you have that kind of setup, right, I'm just going to scroll down. So you can see this one means a many-to-many relationship. Now that's not what I need. I just need like a one-to-one relationship. So and the way we basically do that, it's kind of very straightforward. A one-to-one is here. You just would dash for one-to-one. So you can use that one as a feedback. So what we're going to do, we can close this out. So yeah, so product that category is directly linked to product category.id. Okay, you can see this one is already linked to this, which makes sense. Let's look for product again. Okay, so nothing ID related. It's a review, right? So review can actually belong to a particular, so a product can actually have many reviews. That should be the relationship. Okay, so a product, okay, product can actually have like many reviews, and product ID can have many. We are doing like one to many. So one to many, we use this one. Many reviews, review dot product, review the product dot ID. Right? Yeah. So oh, okay. So we could just do this. I think that should be cool. So yeah. So let's check it out. So that means one product can have many reviews. Isn't that interesting? Sweet. Okay, so that's for the review. You're able to link reviews successfully and reviewed by, right? It can be reviewed by a user. So what we're going to do is create that. Review.id has a one-to-one relationship. Here reviewed by has a one-to-one relationship with the user. Users that, so it's just a user here. I'm not comfortable using the word user. Here is user. Here user.id. Okay, so now let's check it again. Yeah, very good. And also, okay, so this billing information can be for a specific user. So you can just do the user and then we'll specify the ID there. Well, sometimes you might just do it without really, without logging into the platform, which is crazy. Right? You can just book because we already supply like all of this information. You are not an actual user, so you can take that off. Okay. So yeah, so I think the transaction can just might not be specific to a particular user yet because it might not be logged in. So this is going to be more of an optional field. Because a non-authenticated user can still check out. Okay, so in the checkout, we do the same thing. So optional. So we'll paste it down in here. Okay, so that's very sweet. And yeah, so we'll be able to connect it. Contact is just a standalone something, and billing information though can be assigned to a user, so it will actually be optional too. Yeah, so I will not link it directly, right? So because the relationship is completely optional, it's not a must. Checkout on the other end, to this one should have like billing information. So yeah, so I think checkout should just have no need, just billing info is okay for checkout. So I'm going to take this one. Right, good. So as I was saying earlier, so I'll just take that off. Let me undo what I did. Checkout and just put it, at the bottom here maybe. So now the checkout can actually just have the billing info ID. And that billing info can get a user object and so many other things from there. So I think that's all that is to be needed. Yeah, so we can just have a billing information for checkout. Even when you are not authenticated, you can still get your name and all those information from the billing form, and then we can be able to make use of that information in your actual checkout. Okay, so that's very good. So yeah, so checkout and billing information. So every checkout we have one billing information. So checkout dot billing info have your one-to-one with billing info dot id. Right, so that's a relationship there. So yeah, that's a one-to-one relationship right there, which makes sense. Transaction on the other end can actually be linked to to a user depending, right? So it just depends for the most part. So I would have loved we just use like a billing information there for the transaction too. Exactly, exactly. So I think that's actually the best way to handle it because then you don't need to worry about if the user is authenticated or not. We already know that the bill information will always be created whenever you're making an order, whenever you want to book anything. Alright, so transaction instead of this, we're just going to have this one, which is okay. So transaction dot billing for ID, so let's do that. So you can do transaction dot billing info ID. Billing info is going to do one-on-one with so let's say transaction dot billing information is going to do one-on-one with transaction dot ID. Transaction ID. So yeah, they basically just have one-to-one relationship. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, we're going to have billing information to ID, so to speak. Exactly. Yes, so you just have a one-to-one connection in that stance. And yeah, that should be able to do it. This is actually the relationship we have for, roughly everything we need to worry about, right? So we can see from here, just going to try to minimize this, okay? And then we can see this is actually how our model structure would be like, right? And this you can actually export it. That's the cool thing about this platform. You can share with anyone just in case you want them to contribute or anything, right? And you can actually, I think you can export it anyway, right? There's an export. You can just want to export it and then you have access to the files. So that is really interesting. And yes, we've been able to, work on the actual data structure. So subsequently, maybe in upcoming videos, we want to basically work on the backend implementation of all of this, right? And yeah, I think that is it. Thank you guys for joining us today, and definitely I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.